Good heavens. Maybe now. Okay. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why that got mixed up. That was a setting I've never changed. But hello, my name is Yvardsaga, and welcome back to Yvardsaga. It's been a little bit. I had been sick the last time or two we were supposed to have sessions, particularly sick with a sore throat, which, as a DM, is about the worst thing you could have for trying to power through it to play the game. So, yeah, but we're feeling better this time. We started a little late tonight because Pez, who has to drive an hour home from work every night, got stuck not so much by the snow, but by the bad drivers who can't drive in the snow. And it took her 2 hours to get home. No, not an exaggeration. It took her literally twice as long off of an already hour-long drive. So I appreciate y'all's patience with us getting started a little late. It will be a shorter session than usual, but we're still going to do it. We left off in a decent spot to pick back up. Um, our friends fought the worm creatures, which are known in D&D as Gricks, and they managed to save a decent chunk of the Mushroom Man's herd of Rothe subterranean cattle, but they didn't save his prized bull who died protecting the herd. And so Dude Man kind of went on a rampage and did not accompany them to the colony, but he did give them directions of where to go and say you need to go see the sovereign and get permission to find this place you're trying to get to because it's in our territory. So the party said, "Great, cool. We're going to go find the sovereign." And they followed the directions, and we left off right as they got to the Myconid colony. And it's on fire. Like a lot on fire. So we are going to just go ahead and jump on in it. I say realizing I forgot to pull up something for stream that is important for you guys. Do 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 do. Oh my god, I have so many windows open. I have totally not been frazzled by this whatsoever. I am prepared. Everything is fine. Before I switch the camera over, because you guys probably wouldn't see anything. Uh, before all that happens. So, we'll click that. And then I do believe that this means, yes, this means you guys should be able to see when I switch over, but I will check before I jump in with everybody. Haha. All right, cool. Let's hop on it. It was tasty. Hello, friends. I'm just gonna have us launch right back in here. So, welcome back. Last time you guys fought some worms, saved some cows, didn't save a cow that insisted on fighting some worms with you. You lost two cows. The Mushroom Man was definitely more upset about one than the other, though. Big, yeah, yeah. But he did give you directions and appreciated your help, uh, protecting both him and his animals. And as he worked through the aftermath of that fight and those losses to his herd, he did give you directions to find the sovereign, and you guys headed that direction. And you had to travel for a fair bit before you got there, but it was mostly like linear tunnels, pretty hard to get lost, not a lot of intersections. But after a while, you started to smell smoke, and as you progressed, it kept getting stronger. And by the time that you stepped into a space that wasn't just a tunnel, it was very clearly the Myconid colony. That's for certain. You can see like mushrooms that have things built into them or made from them, signs of occupation. There's furniture around. There's also an absolute shitload of fire, and you can already see a lot of bodies all over the place. Um, So as you're standing there trying to take this in, it's really difficult to make a lot of sense of it for a while because the amount of smoke that's coming off of this many fires is tremendous. Like it's a haze up at your level because you're not coming in at ground level here. You're coming in on like this stairway of giant mushrooms that you've been gradually ascending to get here, and it's about 2 stories up. So all the smoke is kind of coming and moving your way, and it is churning and swirling, just thick black, just horrible to breathe sediment in the air and soot all over the place. But every now and then you can see glimpses of what's actually in here between the thick sections of the smoke. Anything you guys want to do at this point? It is okay to say no. I can prompt with something, but I want to give you guys the chance to take initiative here. Okay. Um, I could see that being a couple different skill checks. Generally, my philosophy is pick the skill you want to use and try to convince me that that's the one you should use. So, but as suggestions, I could see that being an investigation. I could see that being an insight as to if this were an arsonist, how would they be thinking and operating and trying to read into that through imagining yourself in their shoes. I could see nature or survival. Uh, pretty much anything, whichever you want to go with. Okay, all right. And go ahead and roll it with advantage. All right. So, usually I would take the time and type up stuff like this and send it in a whisper message, but since we started late tonight, uh, I'll go ahead. Those of you that aren't Cole, this is just player knowledge for you then, unless he clarifies. So, Cole, you see that there are several different spots of flames that aren't actually connected to each other. Now, that can happen when pieces of one fire like float up on an ember and drift somewhere else and cause a spot fire. But this seems like it's not that because those are erratic and tend to travel a ways, and there's so little space in here with so much potential fuels that the if there were spots going to be going off, this whole cavern would be like only certain parts of it are burning now, even though the smoke makes it seem so much worse. But the whole place would be burning in unison. So the fact that they're in certain spots, and particularly in the back on the far side of this staircase, like the north center of this map, and um, this giant mushroom building to the east of it, those are looking like they are the furthest along in the fuels they're burning. So that's probably where this started. And so somebody was probably either inside this building or using this wall of this building that's lit. That may have been the ignition site. And then it just went absolute ape shit from there. Because the current of like the air current that would pull all the smoke and the sparks and everything you can tell is coming from the north part of the map to the south because it's blowing out the tunnel you guys are coming up. So any sparks could overshoot and then go to the southwest corner where this other big fire is burning, and there's another small blaze starting to catch on the outside of this other southwest mushroom house. So you learn a lot. But ultimately, yeah, this was probably a deliberately caused fire, not an accident or a natural occurrence. um, for whatever it's worth, a thing that I forget about that I didn't forget this time as a reminder, you as a tiefling are a lot more tolerant of being closer to the fire than most other people would be. Um, but as far as where you would be for this, Cole, if it were you, that would probably come down to why would you be doing this with yes. Oh, thank you. I think I know how to fix that because it's a silly fix. Yeah, right. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Bogue. We should be good now. I
Yes.
think I think you guys. Okay, yeah, my sound things are showing. They can hear you now. Okay. So as far as where you would be in this situation, Cole, it would depend on why you started it. Like, were you just getting back at somebody and wanting to cause property damage? Were you wanting to try and kill someone? Like, if you were just trying to cause property damage, you might stick around and, like, try and contain it or control it in some way to make sure you're destroying or hindering the thing you are deliberately trying to do without, burning the entire space you're occupying. But you might be less inclined to stick around and just be happy once it gets past the point to leave if you're content. I'm just trying to kill someone
Mm-hmm.
or, cause a distraction or whatever, and this doesn't need my supervision anymore. I can go do what I need to do or just leave.
Yeah, single mark versus a site cleanup.
Yep.
Given that there's multiple fires, Cole's going to assume that it's not just a single target, but either a camp wipe or a mass attack. And so his mindset is where the fire's already at, the danger's already been. So he's going to go up to that northwest corner where there isn't a fire yet, because that's likely the next target.
Okay.
And he's going to communicate to the group as he pulls up his um, what's the word I'm looking for
Cowl?
here?
Like,
Yeah, just the lower one around his face, the
yep.
scarf or whatever,
I think that's a
just to
cowl.
kind of help block his face off.
Yep.
I called it a bandana.
That
Yeah,
works.
same.
Either one.
Um, this looks like arson. Uh, and he's gonna point over to the western side. That's the most fresh. We can try and see if there's anything left or put out those fires. I need to check this. And then he's going to point the northwest. That's where I'd be.
For what it's worth, for you guys to talk to each other, I'm not going to ask this of you as the actual speakers, but in game, you guys are having to essentially shout because the sounds of these fires and the cracking and the hissing and everything that goes on with fires this big in an enclosed dome space is really fucking loud. So just help set the scene. If you guys are talking, you have to be shouting.
Yeah.
Huh?
What?
Precisely. All right, Cole, your show.
So that information has communicated. Am I able to dash or
You
Does
can.
that okay? Lets me go. How do you
So
treat diagonals? Is that 2?
diagonals count. So anything in the 9 square grid that you are at the center of, it still counts as
Yep.
5 feet. Diagonals
5,
included.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55,
Good job.
60. I can
Woohoo!
count.
Woohoo!
So
Yeah.
hey, Cole's gonna take a whiff, take a glance, go hubba hubba, bandana, run.
It just
Excellent.
calls after. We're not gonna put the fire out. No. Okay.
ASGA just looks over to Nima. Well, I don't have any magic for that, but I mean, there's lots of dirt.
Do we start digging?
I mean, we could start just throwing dirt on it or like chopping up parts that are burning to try to get them down on the ground. I'm sure Yejie's dealt with some fires before.
I didn't realize I would have to tell you guys how to deal with fire.
You know, it's really hot for some of us, okay?
Oh goodness.
For what it's worth, Ron looks just as shocked as the other two, but does not follow you. If
Oh, okay.
Ron stays with the other two unless you guys go in there, because if he wants to go get himself burned up, that's his own deal. I didn't sign up for that.
That's fair. You know what? I respect it.
Fire. We can. I'm not a fire person. I mean,
It says the
I mean,
person
see-
is like,
What?
Fireman. I never had to put it out. I just let it burn. Anyways,
yeah, the most I have is and she like snaps her fingers and a tiny little spot of the fire goes out before I'm assuming immediately recatching again as she uses presto.
I mean, you'd have a little bit maybe. If nothing else, you'd be able to stop some spot fires from starting.
Yeah, I mean she'll do that, but she's not expecting that to do much. She's probably gonna just start trying to dig and see how wet the ground is.
If either of you want, you can make a survival check, whether you formally know how to do anything for this or you're just trying to intuit in the moment. You're literally trying to figure out how to survive a blazing wildfire or arson, either one.
I
Yeah.
would also like to know if this fire is like mundane at this point or if it is magical. Maybe if it has an accelerant.
Okay.
I know those are like 3 different questions.
Yeah.
I asked a couple, so that's fair.
Which one do you want
I-
first?
I just wish I would have given you explicit directions before I ran. Because it's like, I had a plan, why don't you have the plan?
I do. It's called put the fire out with wet dirt if that works.
That's halfway there.
That's
That's called a fire break. You're halfway there.
Yeah, I don't think 2 people can dig an entire fire break in this tiny little cave. Thanks.
Not with that
though.
attitude.
You know what, Cole? Dig your own grave.
Damn.
That was cold.
Yeah, that's how I prefer it instead of this inferno. Let's go with, is this mundane fire that I think can be put out with, normal fire putting out methods?
Okay. And what skill would you like to use to try and determine this?
I was hoping nature, but it sounds more survivally to me.
If you want to use nature, what would be the distinction? And if you don't care to put that much thought into it, we can go with survival, because I know you had a long day.
I'll take the -4 to just do survival. That's how tired I am.
Oh my gosh.
AKA, it's just a +2 instead of a +4.
Oh, okay.
Or +6. Like I'm taking less.
I was gonna say,
because-
we're gonna roll it and have a -4. Good luck, everybody.
No, it's still a +2. It's just not
Okay.
a +6.
Okay.
That's fine anyway.
Oh.
Me staring intensely at the fire. Does this look like wet dirt fire? Or does this look like magic needs fire?
So you, if nothing else, with your upbringing and where you come from, you probably would have been taught at least basics of what to do if, like, a lightning storm or some crazy wandering mage came through and just started a wildfire with lightning, and like how to deal with that in its natural setting above ground. So you would have at least a little bit of knowledge of how these things can move and change and form versus with your familiarity with magic, also knowing what magic can do that is distinctly irregular from what fire naturally does to move and destroy things. And you see this as, like I had described for Cole, you see this as spot firing. It was one spot that started, and it quickly spread to a second, and then a spot fire jumped over on the air. You can see all the sparks still repeating and going in that direction as that one in the southwest pulls the air in to fuel itself and draws those sparks in from the opposite corner of the map. So it is behaving naturally.
Okay. And you can't tell me that Ayejie's sister wouldn't have made sure that everyone in her dang house knew what to do for a fire in case, like, the community house caught fire.
Right. Yeah. No, the first
They have
thing
drills and everything.
Pretty much her sister would have done that shit to her family.
the first thing to that you would have been taught to do is assess the fuels that haven't been burned and try and figure out how you can remove or minimize the chance of the fire using them, whether that's digging a fire break or cutting down mushrooms so that they only
Yeah.
burn along the ground instead of climbing.
She was thinking of going downwind, quote unquote, to make sure, like, the stuff that it's going towards is hopefully, quote unquote, safe. But I mean, it looks like it's kind of already hit the wall already, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'll just go towards the nearest fire. She sees that there are people on the ground, question mark, yes?
Yeah, once you get through this initial smoke haze, and Ron does come with you guys, you will notice off to the west there are two forms on the ground, and they are not myconid.
Oh no. Wait. Oh no? Question mark?
Over
Over here.
in this direction, these two.
Yeah, Ayejie also knows to make a situation safe before taking care of other people. Though she'll make sure they're not, like, immediately burning or anything.
Well, the northernmost one, so up here, or no, it's this one. The one closer to the fire, they're both prone. This one is quite large, uh, for a humanoid, but pretty easy to tell from like clothing and equipment choices that this is a Goliath. Which what a Goliath is doing down here would be
Rocks.
almost as surprising as the fact that this place is on fire. Um, but this figure, none of you would be able to make out a lot, except they are very small, like halfling or gnome sized, and they are slowly trying to crawl towards this person, towards the Goliath.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
But they're
Um,
moving so slow, and it's not like they're
yeah.
trying to be stealthy. They're almost unconscious.
Oh no.
Are they, like, reaching out, calling a name, or are they like, I'll kill you if it's the last damn thing I do?
Um,
So I feel like those are two very obvious different crawls.
How good is her hearing?
Like, one doing, like, the reach out, like, oh no, I need to get to you. The other, like, daggers into the ground, crawling. It seems like body language would be different enough to tell.
Uh,
in this instance, it is it's so close to being unconscious that they're essentially the same. The amount of effort it would take for
Okay.
either motivation. Let's see, for you, your highest passive sense, I think, is your investigation.
Yup.
And that's what, like 14, 15?
14.
Uh, if they're crawling towards somebody that is unconscious that close to a blazing fire, it's probably not because they want to make sure they die. It's
That's so much less
probably
dramatic.
something amicable. Well,
Okay.
I mean, if that's the case, if you're reading it right, they're probably trying to save somebody who's 3 times their size.
That's fair. So seeing all of this situation, Asia looks to Nemo. Fire or people? Giving her the choice of whether she wants to what she wants to start with, dealing with the people or dealing with the fire. Because Asia will do the opposite.
There's people, and then he will takes off.
Okay, that answers that. Asia is going to start doing her presto on any small fires around, and I guess she'll start digging and like just trying to see what's burning and throwing
I think
ground
Nemo was
on
about
it.
here. I think Nemo was about there. Hold on. I don't think she can dash at this point. Maybe she can get to here.
Yeah, can we like just go?
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
we go directly this way, like straight off the mushrooms, or do we have to go like up and over?
Is there a drop?
It's a 2-story drop,
Or what story drop?
about 2 stories.
Oh, that's nothing for me. I dangle from my fingertips. I'm practically on the ground.
God damn, you're right, aren't you?
Like 7 feet
You're
tall
right.
with a 10-foot reach.
Yeah, no, if you dangle from one arm and let go, mechanically fall damage, you qualify for the freebie. The first 10
yes,
feet,
doing it.
for those who don't know, in this version of D&D, when you take fall damage, the first 10 feet you essentially get for free. You ignore
As
it.
long as you're under 30.
Yep, 20.
I'm at the age of 30.
Oh, yeah, no, can confirm
It
that's
was a
true.
bad knees joke.
It was a bad knees joke.
Well,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
no,
That's
you
good.
you literally just dangle down to half the distance and let go. You're fine. You can do that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't have super great digging items. I'm not going to lie to you.
I thought you were the prepared one.
You have
I
dug
have-
up every single mushroom we have come across.
That's small digging. I have good small digging items. I don't think small digging is going to help here.
A little.
Yejier
Oh, I
starts
found like a
Trump.
pot.
Yejier starts digging a fire break and everybody just goes, "Stop digging the mushrooms. We need to deal with the fire." They assume
Yeah,
you're just
quickly
collecting
pocketing dirt.
really big samples.
I probably have a pot with my cook's utensils or like a skillet or a pan.
Yeah.
I'm willing to use that
Yeah.
to like start digging and prestoing, and she's gonna try to stay in voice contact with Nemo since they're not too far apart.
Okay.
No, just imagine her trying to dig a fire break with like gardening tools. Like the little hand shovel and
Yep.
rake.
Okay. And then with that, if we
Yeah.
can pause,
Yep.
we're gonna resolve Ron real quick.
Resolve him, punch his fist, or like does the thing where
He
I punch
punches
my fist
fire.
into my palm. You know, I have the spell Grease, and I could have done something very funny about
Oh
that.
my gosh, yeah, you
Oh.
could have. How would it, yeah, he'd have. Yeah, so good old Ron, in the heat of the moment, let nobody say if he's sober and on the job, he won't spring into action.
Unfortunately, sober against his will.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Because he just jumps off in like his scale mail armor, I think is what he's wearing, and like parkour tumbles onto the ground and like almost rolls perfectly up onto his feet after he lands. Like he's hurt. He shakes it off a little bit. He takes a couple points of damage. but like he had no right. He had no right getting away with the jump he just got away with.
I would like to have Nemo turn around and be like, "That looks awesome, by the way," and then keeps going.
Um, and then following that, he just like throws his crossbow to the side underneath the mushrooms, like he's not throwing it into the fire. And he reaches into his travel pack and he pulls out a tiny little trenching tool and hands it to a Yejier. And he
Well,
goes,
that's more useful.
Give me the pan. We're going into tunnels. You have to come prepared with. Somebody has to have a fucking shovel. Give me the pan."
Did you see how much climbing gear I had despite these arms? Gives him the pan, takes the shovel.
Okay, and you guys start digging. All right, Cole. We'll get back to you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna get down here. I see the two people, but they're kind of alive. I'm gonna be glancing around as I kneel near the gnome and say, or the small one, and say, "Is the one who started this still here?"
The only response you get is some very hard to hear in all of this reverberating fire noise, some clicking. There's probably
It's a
more.
pipe bomb.
It's broken up kind of weird, but it's probably just stuff you can't hear because I know what your passive perception is. I checked earlier tonight for all three of you.
We're gonna quiz him on it.
The 3 blind mice.
I
But
guess when
you do get
I
a
can't understand, I'm gonna say, "Shake head, yes, no."
He's shaking the bed.
you get a very slight up and down motion. And you notice something about like they also have their face covered and you can
Hmm.
pretty much only see their eyes. And they have a hood up over the top of their head too. But you do notice something is off about the eyes and the little bits of face you can see, but there's a lot going on. You can attempt to like any quote unquote action you would take this loose round of turn order we are kind of doing.
Hmm.
You could try and make a check to actually see what you can make out of their face, or you can do something else this turn.
To clarify, I asked if the one who started this is still here,
Correct.
and he nodded yes.
You got very slight yes nods.
All right.
They're still trying to crawl towards the Goliath.
All right. My next question is, where?
Where's the trigger?
Where is she? Where's Rachel?
Yep.
Batman voice.
um, you don't get a response. They just keep crawling.
Okay, that's not helpful.
For what it's worth, the one thing about them you can hear right now is their attempts to breathe, and they're very bad. Like this
Okay.
is they were probably here in this cavern when the fire started because there's probably a lot of smoke inhalation already in this tiny little person. You know what that sounds like after a while.
Yeah. There's a reason my voice is the way it is. All right. So Cole's next determination would be there's few things to do. One, there's a building here that's barely burning. We could save that. Might be someone in there. Then we could work on putting out the rest of the fires. He's burned up all of his movement for the turn. And what is the distance on that? Oh, okay. Um, So that is a 60-foot range. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So on the first, I guess, blaze over here, right here, or I guess here, he's going to cast control flames to snuff out a 5-foot section.
Excellent. Okay.
So
So
yeah, we'll start here and work our way in.
so you get close enough to see that, and Yejiye, you would notice this at about the same time now that you're down here and not up top, that this fire didn't start at ground level. So some of the fuels towards the bottom are still like starting to burn, but the flames are following the fuel downward for the most part in order to get here. So it's also burning vertically upward, but it probably didn't start at the ground, so there's some space that you could potentially do something there because it hasn't just burned up everything there yet. So Cole, I feel like that would probably be where you would start, I would think, once you're
Mm-hmm.
able to see that. Okay. And so you give this flame just a little bit less purchase, and now there is a gap between the nearest piece of open fire and the nearest piece of available fuel. So continuing to do that enough over time should, in theory, at least make a big difference, but it would take quite a while. But if nothing else, it gives you a little bit more wiggle room to approach this mushroom house, if that's what you're
Mm-hmm.
still wanting to do.
Yep. And yeah, I'm out of movement, so that's all I can do for this turn.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you? I forgot. This is the
Yeah.
same turn that you descended. Okay. Uh, fire break team.
uh, Nemo's just say fuck walking. She's gonna just fly down and brush this person down here.
Okay. Nemo, you find that the Goliath is face down and unconscious.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
he looks like a fighter. He's decked out with some armor and weapons and a travel pack, but yeah, that's not helping him fight this. He
Not
he
a firefighter.
he doesn't look like he's sustained a ton of direct burn damage. So this is probably more from any injuries he may have had previously or from breathing in smoke.
Uh,
Spe-
can I try to like roll him over?
yeah, you can roll him over.
Okay.
If you're just
He's a
trying to
beast.
keep him on the ground, yeah. It'll
Yeah.
take some
That.
hefting, but you can do it
Yeah.
without having to check.
Okay. And like he's just unconscious. He's still breathing.
Uh,
Can I give him a couple of slaps? Would that help?
I mean,
A little pat, pat,
you
pat.
can if you want.
Live.
Make a medicine check for me.
When in doubt, just pat the person's face like a cat. Medicine.
Nice.
There's a
It
nice 6 right there.
Yep, yep. Well, you don't see any large pools of blood or any obvious wounds, except you get a look at his face. The left part of his face is fucked up. Like it's marred and scarred. Like the left side of his mouth is like missing a chunk of like that entire top lip.
Cheek.
So like
Oh.
you just see teeth on that side.
Oh.
But around that wound is healed. It's scar tissue. These are old wounds. That's even a 6 will tell you that. But he's got a lot of scars and stuff on that side, and it takes a minute to realize that's it, more or less irrelevant here. No other obvious wounds, so he's not cold, which might be impossible to do in this room right now is go cold, but you can feel his body is struggling to breathe underneath his armor. So you can tell
Oh.
he is alive, technically.
Oh. Looks up to Cole. What do I do in this situation? He can't breathe. I don't know how to help. I can't pick him up.
That's quitter talk.
But she says that to Cole.
Yes.
Cut off his armor or turn him on his side.
Oh. And she just whips out a knife. Okay.
Okay. You. So you want to cut off his armor?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You'll have to
What
make
check?
a check for that for sure.
Yeah. What check is that? To not stab him.
Sleight of hand?
How do you imagine you are removing this armor with a knife? Are you just like
Yeah, do you even know what that means, Nemo?
Are there
Sensuously,
laces?
perhaps?
She's gonna look for laces. It's like cutting an emergency situation with a corset. You cut off the laces and rip it off from there.
okay? So you're not just trying to use
Stab.
half of a pair of scissors to slice up the front of this dude's thick leather armor. Cool. Good call.
She read it in a book called Romancing the Orcs. Cut the corset's laces and then rip it off.
No,
call
I believe
knives-
for her background, she would not cut the laces of the corset
It's
off.
not a knife, it's a bodice ripper.
And excuse y'all, it's a dagger.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's have you make honestly probably an athletics check because
Oh, yes.
there are obvious leather straps you can cut, and they are
Okay.
like there's probably not much more that you can't see on the inside, but they are thick reinforced leather.
Oh.
So it'll take some sawing and or hacking to cut all of these straps off of this dude.
Okay. Athletics. Got it.
Athletics.
Don't set.
You got this, Nemo.
Yeah.
We're getting him out of the way. We're getting him out of the way.
You will spend the rest of your turn doing this, but you will make progress.
Okay.
So unless you decide you want to stop, I will assume you are continuing to do this for the next little bit.
Yeah, she's just sawing away. It's like, I'll get there eventually.
Meanwhile, this tiny person sees this deranged tiefling taking a knife to his maybe friend.
Question mark.
Oh my goodness. And then yeah, a Yajier. You just digging?
Yep. Digging and cantripping. Am I muted?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Normally I can hear myself better with my headphones on if I'm not muted, and I got very concerned.
Ah. No, you're good.
It's who I am as a person. So, yeah. And I'm just gonna, good old fire break situation. Gonna try to find where the fire's going next and kind of get it from the outside in. Let it burn up all the fuel it's already burnt.
Okay.
And I'll just work on the one I'm nearest, because, why not, really?
Yeah. Nearby is a good place to start.
And I have a lovely shovel.
Like I said a bit ago, you realize that the fire is trying to burn down towards you. You've got maybe like a 4 or 5 foot section of fuels that hasn't actually burned yet, and it is creeping downward in that direction, but
I
it
am
is slow.
fully willing to chop it down, especially because the place I would be chopping isn't on fire currently.
Yeah, you would have to go through some smaller burning fires in order to do that. You could do it, but it would be awkward partially because it's only 4 or 5 feet up, which is the burn line would still be at your waist. So you would have to get down there if you're going to be chopping stuff.
I can be on my knees, but to get there, I will put out the fires. So, to get there, if that makes sense. I'm not gonna wade through fire.
Okay, how are you putting them out?
How big are they? Are they small campfire sized?
They're bigger than campfire sized.
Damn. So yeah, it'll be a combo of prestoing anything small and digging up dirt and throwing it on anything bigger. You look confused.
No. I just had a thought that I was wondering if it would be relevant. And ultimately I've decided it would not. Okay. Yeah, so you would be able to clear enough of a space to at least get through safely. And so you'd be standing between the two. The one that's burning, like there is still a line on the ground from where like sparks have landed and are starting to spot up and start their own little new mini fires. And they've created another line on the ground, but that's really, it's a hindrance, but that's not an impassable space like what you're trying to prevent. So
Yeah,
you are
I'll
in.
stomp.
Sorry, go ahead.
I will stomp and presto any small ones I see while I'm going.
Yes. And as you do, you get into the charred, burnt space in between. And so you're wanting to get in there and cut stuff down?
Like, this is what's burning, right?
Yeah. You're wanting to cut those bigger mushrooms down from the base?
Yeah, because if they're on the ground, then I can put them out, / they're not going to be throwing embers quite as high in theory. Granted, it hitting the ground will throw embers, but like, kind of half dozen of one, 6 of the other.
From reaching back, since you had such a good survival check earlier, felling some of that stuff, yes, there will be some initial sparking and
Blue
like embering at, but after that, if you get them to land right, you could theoretically get most of it to be contained within the burned area. So once the thing you chop over burns itself out, that fire has nowhere else to go.
I'm pretty much trying to turn this wildfire into a series of bonfires.
Okay. So now that you are, I'm going to move your token if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
move me, because I can't tell where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, so while you're in there, go ahead and make a constitution save for me, and then I'll have you make an athletics check.
That's scary.
Yes. Yes, you're running into a
There's
wildfire.
something I realized I should have done before I ran into this fire, and that would have been taking my water skin and like dumping it on my pants. But hey, that would have taken another whole turn, and I'm a woman of action. I hope that I'm like a sheep and I am flame resistant, not flammable.
I don't know. I hadn't
So
thought
I do a
about.
con save.
Yeah, we'll start with a con save and then an athletics check.
Oh no, about that. I have such good con too. It's just so hot in here.
It is.
Oh no, I used up my one good roll. Nemo's contagious.
Okay.
We're getting them out of the way. We're getting them out of the way.
Yeah.
The smoke that starts getting in your eyes, up your nose, and your mouth makes it hard to keep track of where you need to be hitting to be most efficient with bringing down these giant mushrooms that are burning. So,
That's fair.
like Nemo, you can make progress, but it's a lot slower than it could be.
I'm also probably like using a shovel or a spear
Mhm.
or like a javelin to try to do this.
Yep.
Like I don't have good chopping or digging implements.
Yeah. The shovel would probably be your best bet. Fortunately, you're talking about
E-tool.
giant mushrooms and not like oak trees.
Yeah.
So a shovel is still doing decent work.
A herring.
Okay. So then we'll go to Ron next. Ron,
ASGA will tell Ron what she was like intending to do. She's not just gonna like run into the fire without telling him.
yes. Let me.
It feels important.
Okay. All right. So Ron sees what you're doing, Yejier, and he takes a knee again and he still has his pack out from when he dug out his shovel to trade you, and he just kind of throws your pot on the ground for now. We'll try and not forget that after all this is said and done. But he takes one of those obnoxiously huge lengths of rope that you guys made such good use of earlier, making sure Ron didn't fall in the river again.
I thought I had those.
Yeah.
Well, Ron
And you
Ron
had-
has one length of rope that's his.
Okay.
Mostly, I just wanted to call back because I thought that was funny. That whole situation prior.
We treated him like a kindergartner going on a field trip.
You did, yeah. But he does exactly what you realized you could have done, Ayejiye, but he doesn't take his water skin and start dumping it on himself. He starts dumping it on this rope. And that's what he's going to spend his turn doing.
Good for him. I trust Ron.
So then, Cole.
So we're trying to multitask. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I can get next to the door and still do a control flames to try and extinguish some of the burning here.
Okay. That can be done.
With consequences.
Swoop.
Every time you extinguish a flame here, a flame starts somewhere else. You're actually just moving it.
It just shifted.
Actually, a teleportation spell works only on fires.
Pretty fucked up. Yeah, I think I'm controlling fire. I'm really just redistributing it. That's fucked up.
Somewhere on the other side of the world, a campfire just explodes out of control.
Honestly, that would work for a lot of Cole's work, but not in this instance.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you have effectively cleared a route to this building. You
Yay!
you can see that there is a section of the roof that is emitting smoke through it, so there is something burning inside. But as far as you can tell, nothing on the outside of this one is actually on fire yet.
Good.
Are you going in? Or is that all your
Uh,
movement?
That was all my movement without
Okay.
sprinting.
Okay. Yeah, because the door
I'm
is
also
the door is
Cole is
closed.
also going to internally wonder why Nemo isn't doing the same thing he is and suppressing fire. He's gonna note that.
Suppressing fire!
Exactly.
Thank you. I thought it. I'm glad somebody said it.
You're welcome.
Reloading!
Also known as end of turn.
Yes.
All right, Nemo.
As long as he's not dead, she's gonna keep trying to cut him out.
Okay, if you want, you can make one more athletics check, but it will be the last one I let you make in relation to this, so you can let
Yeah.
that result ride another round or two.
Okay.
Up to you.
Yeah, sure.
You can always call for help
That's true.
if you want to admit you're a failure.
No, because those are quitter words. I'll just try to hope that I can do better this time.
I believe in you.
I believe in myself. Let's go.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Okay. Yeah, so you figure out how the straps are constructed, and it's actually two thick pieces of leather sewn into each other to reinforce like all of these. And you figure out, after struggling for a bit, you can actually take that knife and run it between the two things just enough to cut the stitching on the inside. And that makes it easier to pull them apart into thinner pieces that cut much easier. So by the end of the round, yes, you are able to get this guy's armor cut and off, but that you will have to spend the whole turn doing that.
Yeah. Trying to save a life here.
Yeah. So his studded leather armor has been removed. He still has like a fur mantle on his shoulders that's not part of the armor, so that's still on there, but it's not like a full cloak. It's just his shoulders. But just he has loose dangling fibers off of him and fire area. So just wanted to make sure that was apparent. Otherwise, yeah, this guy's definitely a warrior. He's got the scars.
Okay. Okay. Yay, cut him out. Woo.
Woohoo!
Move it on.
All right, Yvardsaga.
Seeing what Ron's doing,
Okay,
I'm not sure if she can do both of these things in the same turn. So she'll start with this one, which is seeing what he's doing, grabbing. I don't remember. Let me check where she stores her items. I think she stores them mostly in her bag, not in her backpack,
I believe so.
because it makes more sense to do that. Oh, damn. She stores it in both. Well, actually, no. Where is her? She has a sleeping roll. I know she does. I just don't have it written down on her
Yeah.
her thing. Because it comes in the. Oh, she doesn't actually have like the traveler tools or whatever.
Oh, did you take a different pack than the explorer's pack with
I
your character
don't know.
creation?
I have so many different kits and utensils and supplies, and none of them are listed as the adventurers.
Yeah, I think because
But
of
she has
the
some of
like
the stuff.
the supplies pack that you can get as like starting equipment is the only one that comes with a bedroll.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, she has traveling clothing in her bag, and she has more rope in her bag of holding. So she's going to throw pretty much all of her bags in Ron's direction.
Okay,
Not gently, because she's not afraid about breaking things in the bag of holding, and she doesn't keep fragile things in her backpack.
fair.
And she will shout at him, water skins in the backpack, cloth and rope in the bag.
Okay,
Because it occurs to her / me, getting a blanket wet and tossing it over the fire might have also been a smart idea.
Hey,
there we go.
there's some meta knowledge I
don't-
didn't share.
I don't have a lot of water. I have like a water skin, okay? But
I'm
either way,
proud of
she'll
you.
do that. She'll toss all those in his general direction. Do I need to make a roll for that?
Nah.
Okay, because I'm only like 5 feet away from him.
Yeah, no. You can literally reach your
That's true.
your gangly arms over and set them on the safe ground next to him.
Yeah, so she'll make sure he has access to all those things. Good luck finding things in the bag. I have a tinder box. Would that help?
Sure.
No.
Sorry, did you just all the stuff is in the bag and you just throw
Yeah,
everything at him?
Yeah, I just throw everything at him and tell him where the water skin is, and then like where cloth and rope are.
Okay.
And I kind of just like, he seems to know what he's doing.
Okay.
In theory.
Would for the rest of your turn, would you like to let him go first so you can see what he's doing?
No, because I've given him everything now, and I'm just gonna continue chopping at this.
Okay, and I'll give you the same option I gave Nemo. You can make one more athletics check to chop down these mushrooms, but it'll be the last one you get for the time being, and which you can use that result on that reroll on a subsequent turn if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do it now and be stuck with whatever result you get for the rest of your attempt.
I don't feel like rolling now versus rolling later will change the roll. So I will go ahead, and I don't have like anything to help myself with it. Unless I grease up this mushroom, because that would be funny. So yeah, I'm just gonna try chopping it again. Unless were you saying something?
I'm gonna grease up that mushroom was not a sentence I was prepared for today.
Oh yeah, I forgot I had that too. Oh well, that's not gonna help me right now. I just think it'd be funny.
But yeah, you will have to make one roll for me though.
Is it con?
Yep.
I was worried about that. Oh, that was so close to a 1. It hovered on the one for a second. I was so scared.
Okay, yep, you're good. You can continue chopping.
And maybe it means I can breathe better to do this. Nope, literally the same roll.
Okay. Alright, well, you keep chopping.
Yeah, she might have to retreat after this, we'll see. I don't know, Ron might help.
Okay.
And that is me.
Alright, so we'll go to Ron. And Ron doesn't say anything. You throw your stuff over, and he just keeps dumping water on this length of rope. And he dashes forward. Well, not forward, kind of sideways at first. And he gets over here. And he throws the rope up and tries to like loop it around one of the giant mushrooms you're hacking at. Specifically using like attempting to get the wettest section of it that he was able to manage in the short time to be like what's actually on the tree, or tree, quote unquote. So he needs to make a check for that. Oh.
Oh, buddy. I was worried that was his con save for a second.
Nope. Oh, Ron.
Ron has the best luck.
He has an amount of some kind of luck, yes.
Yes, he has best and the worst luck.
Okay, so he throws that rope up and tries to get it to hook around one of these mushrooms you're working on, a Yejiye. But it doesn't actually go all the way over, and it gets stuck a little bit. And by the time he's able to like untangle it, and that is by just like letting go of one half and still like pulling the rope back out just from one side. It still takes some damage, but is in one piece. It just may not be as resilient as anybody would like if he's going to continue trying to do this with it. But that'll be Ron's turn, so cool.
Alrighty, finally, we get to the door. I hope it's unlocked. Is it?
It is unlocked.
Alright, we're gonna burst in, kind of ready for anything in case there's the arsonist there or kind of a flaming inferno that hits him in the face. So he kind of holds his breath as he kicks it open.
The first thing you see when you get in here is this is very definitely a house. It's a living space with nothing alive inside it, and there are 2 myconids present. Right by the door there is a myconid of similar size and proportions to the rancher that you guys met out at the Crystal Lake. And a little bit further in there is a much smaller one. But it has like different like color and textures to it. So just because it's smaller does not necessarily mean that it was that bad. There are all sizes of mushrooms here, even if they are mature grown, and that goes for the myconids that cultivate them too. This is roughly a halfling-sized mushroom back here that is also dead. But yeah, they're both pretty obviously just dead. The big one near you does have some burn marks, but they're not near any fire. There is a fire starting in the back of this house, but that's pretty much it.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, we're gonna control flames to extinguish that fire.
Okay.
That's in the house. Then that was 5 feet that he moved. And then
You find the source of that strange fire.
Oh.
There is a charred out husk of an adult myconid underneath it when you extinguish it.
Oh. Huh. We'll investigate later.
My work here is done. And leaves.
Very,
You didn't
very
do
pragmatic.
anything.
Very pragmatic. He's a very well-checked man. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
There's other things happening right now.
You right. Okay.
Um,
You step back out. What's your plan?
let's see. Cole's thinking.
Don't hurt yourself.
It's a dangerous game, that thinking thing.
Exactly. Because it looks like these two are making quote-unquote progress over here.
They're doing something, that's for sure.
Yeah,
they're trying. They're definitely working on the problem.
Yep.
It's called bonding.
When Cole was assessing the situation, would he have recognized this over here as another building?
Which one? Sorry, I was zoomed in pretty far.
Oh, northeast corner.
Yes. Yeah. That's where
The original fire looked like.
Yeah, from being far away, but from what you were able to suss out, that's probably the original blaze.
Okay.
I did forget to mention, one of the things you guys saw as you were running up either halfway across this whole mushroom archway to get down, or even just halfway to jump off the side. This corpse right here that's X'd out is significantly larger and distinct among the rest. And all of you would have seen them, even in the midst of the fire and the smoke and all the chaos. You would have noticed that when they're dead, that may be the Sovereign.
Looks like we don't need permission anymore.
Oh my goodness.
It's not a good sign. You know what's going to be great is when our farmer friend gets back home
Oh no.
and he sees all of his people dead and everything burned down after he just met someone who lit worms on fire.
You know, but there's only
We'll cross
one
that
of
bridge
them.
when we get there.
Exactly.
And we know
Burn that
fire's
bridge when we
pretty
get there.
effective.
Oh.
That's future Cole's problem.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh. I had not even thought about that. Fuck.
Yeah. Shit, me and my big mouth.
Oh. No, by all means, please keep giving me these insights.
No, but
They
like we
fuel
bonded,
me like the
though.
mushrooms fuel the fire.
Exactly. No.
All right. Anything else on your turn, Cole?
Oh yeah, so that's gonna be his next area to kind of direct as these two do one of the fire putting out attempts of all time. So he had 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And as he walks by, he's gonna say, "A wet cloak would smother the flames."
And it keeps
Yes.
going.
Yeah, because apparently none of these people have dealt with fire before. I'm gonna yell something else on my next turn, but I've done quite a bit.
Ron turns and just goes, then grab some water and a blanket and make it wet and start hitting shit.
I'm faster doing this.
I doubt that, but I won't say anything.
My immediate impression of that was Cole going, my work here is done, swooshes cloak and walks away, and Ron just goes, but you're not doing anything.
Exactly.
I can do this faster. Whoosh. You're not doing shit.
No, I can walk away. That's the point, my guy.
Fair enough. Okay. That it for you, Cole?
For this turn.
Okay. Nemo, you have this dude free of his armor. He is still breathing about as difficult, with as much difficulty as he did last time, unless you want to reassess, but at least he's got his face up and armor off, I guess?
Um, it just dawned on her that he could have started the fires. So I think what she would do is very much so like what she did with 10th. She's going to enter a state and ask a question. I don't know how you want to handle this. It'll just be player knowledge for them.
Either way, if you want to take a minute and type it up, that's okay with me. But if you're comfortable with the other players knowing player knowledge for now, I am okay with that for tonight.
I only use player knowledge for evil.
Oh,
No.
goodness.
Fair enough.
Just because we kind of started off late, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's faster that way. She's going to ask, like, looking around, is there anyone who can speak with me right now? And, like, hopefully find someone.
Yeah, Cole's not too busy.
Fuck off. Not you. I keep telling you, I'm not talking to you.
No, that was in player voice. That's
Uh,
out of character.
It would be funny if it wasn't.
Nemo, you do not get any feedback of any kind of response.
Oh no.
The softest little oh no.
I was really hoping somebody was around.
Help. I need somebody.
Can she like I don't know, hog tie this man then?
This unconscious man.
Do you have something to
Yeah.
hogtie him with? Do you still have rope? Or
I think
This
I'm holding
nearly
like all
dead
of the rope.
person.
I don't know if he lives, we could interrogate him. That's her mindset. No, she doesn't have rope, but I don't know if like the sash around her waist will be enough to.
He
I
uses
mean-
his own armor.
he's
Yeah.
he's
The
not
leather-
resisting, so yeah. The leather
Yeah,
straps
yeah.
you structurally compromised several times.
I mean, like the sash around her waist could that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would just use that to like hog tie this man to make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
And then
What? How are you tying? Are you tying just his hands, just his ankles?
oh, wrists to ankles and everything.
Like a
Okay.
proper hog tie.
All right.
Yeah.
Full on hog tie to Goliath. This. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Make a sleight of hand check for me. That's. I
Cool.
don't know that that's anything actually proper mechanics wise, but that's what I always use for tying stuff to see how well you fasten your knots.
Yeah, slightly better at that. Don't suck.
Well, he's not resisting, so we'll see if they hold.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be it. I have no
Anyone
more
else?
extras.
Anyone else see that live action movie of Dennis the Menace?
Yes.
Like that scene where he's tying the knots.
Yep.
That's what my mind's going to.
She's trying to help. Okay.
Thank you for that, Cole. I have not thought about that movie in a long time, and that was a staple of my childhood.
No problem.
Nemo, while you're doing this, you, at some point, whether deliberately or not, happen to catch a glance up at the smaller figure that was up there crawling, and they're head down. Looks like they've either passed out or given up.
Oh, okay.
They are no longer moving or crawling.
Oh. Her main concern was checking on the people, so if she's out of actions, she'll just go check on that person later.
Okay.
Or like in the next round.
Yeah, you can start moving that way if you want, but yeah, you'd have to wait till next
Does
turn.
she out loud say anything about the people?
She spoke to Cole about the Goliath and what to do, but
That's true.
And then you kind of hear her yell, like, "Is there anyone who could speak with me?"
Oh, I didn't realize that was out loud.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
a
that
very
might be
intense
Ayechi
moment.
Miwa.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Ayechi, you know, can heal.
Yeah.
Nemo took over the people so quick. She assumed that Nemo knew what she was doing.
Yeah, thank goodness we have a heat-resistant person who can't heal attending bodies, and a heat-averse creature
You know
that
what?
can heal trying to put out fire.
We can't all be calm under, you know, literal disaster, okay, Cole?
This is a Tuesday for Cole.
Yeah, because he has trauma. Let's see him confront his inner demons.
We are working on that.
my God.
That is the goal.
She doesn't have any
Oh
other
my
actions
gosh.
left. She's trying to evaluate. She's trying. Moving on.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Sorry that the tone and delivery, Possum, that you just had for this is a normal Tuesday for Cole. I'm crying, dude.
I'm gonna have to watch this VOD later.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was good. Okay. All right. Oh God, I gotta keep us moving. All right. But nothing else for Nemo then.
Yeah.
Maybe something for Nemo.
No, she can't cast magic. Oh, it'll wait for the next turn.
She's hanging out there. She's not gonna move.
You get the should move about here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yes, yeah.
Hearing Nemo shout and then looking over and seeing Nemo has like not moved either of the people and just left that one tied up laying on the ground. And seeing that Ayechi is making little to no progress here, she's gonna I'll be right back to Rod. And be like, she doesn't really know why she thought this division of labor was good, but she wasn't going to ask questions. That's her sister's job. But she is going to skadoot her way over to the unconscious Goliath, who's now hogtied. Like, essentially shouldering her way past Cole. No care in the world about just full-on smacking him. Not like trying to, but she doesn't want to get that close to the fire. She'd rather shove him closer to the fire.
Do
Fair.
I have to roll for that?
No.
And she could have cured from a distance, but it's more beneficial to cure at a close. So she's gonna go ahead and just kneel and slap a cure wounds on this Goliath.
Okay.
How heavy is a Goliath, do we think?
Very.
That's why anyone
But,
never
like-
bothered to drag him.
Probably
But,
5
like-
pounds at least.
Healthy weight, I would be shocked if it's even anywhere near 300.
I could move that.
She can move 300
I
pounds.
think it's not even a drag for me. I think that's a lift.
That
Because
should.
it's 15 times your strength score for normal, right?
Yeah,
And then I'm a large creature.
you count as a large creature for.
So I can
the
lift
full
360 pounds and I can drag 720.
Not down.
You'd probably have to drag, if nothing else,
Okay.
considering the amount of smoke you've breathed in the last couple rounds.
And I mean, I can't do it this turn anyway, but we'll go ahead and do a little slip slap. Oh, that was a good one! That was almost full healing.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, I forgot to reflect the damage on his health bar. Sorry.
Oh.
You're.
Oh, that's why I was like so confused. I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
oh, their lungs are filled with smoke. There's nothing she can do.
Yeah, no, they're health bars because you can see their health bars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, their health bars should have been a lot lower. I just forgot to set them not at full health.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
So that you could see the effect any of your healing was having, but I'm not gonna mess with that right now. The healing is very good. His breathing smooths out and takes a lot less effort than it had been. He's still unconscious.
That's fine.
But you also get a look at just how damaged the side of his face is. I forgot to mention for when Nemo was there, but like one of his left eye is like milked over and blind. When you can see like cracks through his eyelids. I'll show you a picture eventually if you guys interact.
Does it look like physical damage or possible like disease? If that makes sense.
I'd say that would be a check as you're getting ready to drag this person.
Okay. And as a yelling at Cole free action, she will tell him. Where is it? Oh, it's apparently on her. Disregard. Unless he wants to come digging through her pockets, but I doubt. So, he's not allowed to know what she was gonna say.
I love the implication there that each party member gets one free yell at Cole action per round. Cole,
Is that not how it works?
Cole, that does include you.
Come
on, man. Get it together.
You know what? Thinking more about it, Cole might dig through her pockets. She's only 5 feet away. So she will yell at him the wildest out of context sentence because she's not going to put effort into her thinking right now. If you want to fly, there's an egg in my pocket. She does not wait for a response. She goes back to preparing to drag this person. Drag that man.
Now,
so
my first thought is that's like a euphemism to go fuck yourself.
I mean, you could take it that way. I'm not gonna stop
It's like
ya.
Reaches into
his
pocket.
brain will catch up and be like, she's used eggs
retrieves a
for
middle
magic.
finger.
Yeah, but like the first thought is, it's like, oh, go suck eggs. Oh, if you want to fly, there's an egg in my pocket. So there's confusion on Cole's part for a good few seconds.
Good thing a turn is 6 seconds.
Exactly. He is
time to
four
process.
and a half, or he's all sorts of confused.
But then, is it medicine to see if these are like a physical or a disease or like a what sort of injury?
This is one where it could be an open skill check of whatever skill you can sell me on that you want to use. I could see medicine or nature or possibly survival, investigation.
I'm thinking. Actually, because this is like one of the Yejie's fields of study, I'm thinking history. Specifically because she is worried about it possibly being a disease that caused this damage.
Okay.
She's probably seen like animal attacks, fight wounds, burns, like of the fire sort, not necessarily of the chemical sort.
Yeah.
Except for like maybe on hands. But she is most worried about this possibly being some sort of... I mean, he's healed now, obviously, but she knows that diseases can lay dormant.
Yeah.
If you're not immunized to them.
Yeah, make that history check with advantage.
Ooh, good, because that was a 5. Oh, that was a 4. It's an 11.
Okay. It's hard to tell a lot of the finer details amidst everything going on that you would normally like to be able to determine.
Hard to see with my eyes being filled with smoke.
Yeah. But as you're jostling this dude around, thinking back to what you've seen that could look like any amount of this damage, particularly the damage to like the side of his mouth and his cheek, it looks more like it was like a trauma on the flesh than it was like a disease or
More than like a necrosis or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was probably either an animal or a combatant. From what you've seen of wounds, it's more like that than it is like necrosis.
Also, I forgot to mention, as expected, her heel, it's an egg. It's like a, let's see, what sort of egg is it? It's a soft yellow with like some starish patterns on it.
Ooh, pretty.
How big?
I'm thinking this is a first level spell, but it's a pretty good one. It's probably like a goose egg, which is
Excellent.
funny for a healing spell.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
is. So you just goose egg this man to the sternum,
Yeah.
and suddenly his breathing calms and levels out.
Give him a goose egg.
Stabilizes. I love it. Okay, cool.
Yonk.
All right. That being your turn, Ron.
All right, Ron. I'll be back.
Ron sees a Yejiye just fucking off, as Cole is fucking off in a different direction, to the extent
A Yejiye!
that both of their fuckings off collide briefly in space and time, while Ron is still standing in a wildfire, looking around like, what the fuck? And so he just and just drops the rope he was trying to use to whatever end he was trying to use it with, and just leaves and walks out.
A Yejiye told him she was going to be right back. She just had to goose egg a man.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Huh? All right, but he's gonna have to make a con save because he was also breathing a shitload of smoke. Did that? Oh, it didn't do the thing. Why didn't you do the thing? There we go. Okay, yeah, he's feeling the smoke. But so Ron grabs Cole as he leaves and like spins you around. Like he's not being gentle. And he spins you around to face him and he goes, "Was that building clear?"
Fire, yes. Bodies, no.
Safe for now.
Correct.
Good. And then he just lets you go.
I like to imagine Cole was still like confusedly trying to interpret
Oh.
a Yeshua's harsh words.
100%. So, no, yeah, given that, his response would have been, clear of fires, not of bodies.
Good enough. So Ron is gonna run over by Yui Ejiye, and he's also gonna start like essentially if you were prepping to drag this Goliath and like arms hooked under the armpits and just drag him, Ron goes to grab his feet.
Drag him, yes.
And he goes, "Get him inside that house, it's not burning, and if it's not burning yet, we can keep it from burning.
They nod.
Any casualties should go in there." So when on your next turn, any athletics or constitution saves resulting from carrying a deadweight Goliath, you have Ron assist them. All right, then we go back to Cole, and this will probably be our last round for tonight.
Yep, so seeing what they're trying to do, putting two and two together of what the question about the house was, Cole figures we better just target on subduing this fire so that the house becomes quote-unquote safe before dealing with the rest of the room. So he's gonna work on more control flames to extinguish squares
Okay.
or bits of fire.
Okay. Very good, very good. In that case, then it goes to Nemo.
Yeah, she's not even gonna check if this guy's still breathing. She's just gonna pick up the body if she can.
Okay. Yeah.
And
They are.
looks over to where like Ron is dragging, and Yvardsaga are dragging the other body. She's like, "Oh, okay, I'll just follow them."
Okay. Yeah. You can pick this person up. That it takes an action, so then you can start taking them to the house and start your movement. I am typing a thing for you as well, Nemo. It should come through just as a whisper, but please, y'all, let me know if you are not Nemo and you see the message I sent.
What if I steal Nemo's identity and then see it?
You'll have to make a deception check.
In real life or in the game?
Yes.
Fun fact about the household I live in. I sometimes tell time by when the cat's meals drop from the automatic feeder.
Okay.
If only they could as well.
Oh no, they do. They know.
Oh
they know
no,
what
he
time.
he knows about an hour before.
Yeah. But yes, Nemo. Now knowing what you know, I don't imagine that would necessarily change anything immediately, but I assume you're gonna just start taking them towards the building.
Yeah, and then like in passing, you're like, Yvardsaga and Raj, you're like, this one's a chirp chirp. And it keeps going.
In response to that, as the two of you try to make any sense of that, Cole, when you were over there, somehow you missed it, but I mean, it's not like you're not going to notice this forever. Eventually you will, so I'll just tell you now. The smaller figure that Nemo is carrying has cropped pants, and all of their legs that you can see from like the knee down are bird feet. Like raptor talons, not like duck feet. Yeah, there are many kinds of birds, I realized.
Raptorial
The
claws.
SGA knows that. The SGA knows there's like so many birds.
Which I suppose that is a thing I should clarify. Most of Yvard will never see or expect to see or ever really even talk about, except maybe in fairy tales, any sort of avian humanoid. Like Aarakocra, Owlin, the exception being down in the southwest part of the world, in Einborg, you can find Kenku in the major cities. Which, for those of you who don't know D&D in the audience, Kenku are like humanoid ravens. That's about the only one you can expect to find. The fact that Aarakocra or Owlin may or may not exist is either a fairy tale or it's just not believed that they do because nobody ever interacts with them. You're not just going to go strolling through town or even through a rural farm area and find Aarakocra hanging out. That just doesn't happen here.
Pick an Aarakocra.
So seeing this with like gray, slightly greenish but mostly gray and black bird feet on this person would definitely catch your attention, even in the midst of everything happening in this room. As Nemo just goes trotting by saying, it's a chirp chirp. Taking them to triage inside a technically not burning building. Okay, but then from there, a Yvardsaga.
Dragging this man.
Okay. All right. Cole, I assume.
I-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I have Ron's help, will I need to make a carrying him roll, considering my immense carry weight?
You will not, but you will still need to make a Constitution save, because you are still performing labor with weight in a very smoky environment, and Ron will have to do the same.
It practically weighs nothing. Ron would disagree.
Oh yeah, no, Ron is not happy right now. Ron is, honestly, this is probably the most genuinely, like, fucking pissed you guys have seen him. And this is including the fight against the worms, where he just locked the fuck in and was just sniping them just as quickly as he could reload that heavy crossbow. Something has Ron very upset, but he's doing his job. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys are able. It takes some huffing and puffing, but no houses fall down, and that's good because that's where you were headed. So you guys managed to get the Goliath and the small chirp into the house. Cole, I imagine during that time you would have essentially just kept putting out, or at least preventing the spread in this direction of the fires as best you could.
And if I can extinguish a 5-foot cube every 6 seconds, what would it take me? Half hour to clear a whole colony?
Something like that.
Yeah.
You could definitely, within, even factoring in for an aggressive spread, this whole fire down in this section, you could probably clear in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so we're gonna work on doing that. We're gonna be on firefighter duty.
Okay.
If Nemo is close enough / in the building.
There
Yeah,
are
I think
beds in the
we need
back
to
if you
hear it.
guys want to put your patients on the beds.
Yajier will ask if the ... chirp needs some healing too.
Oh, I was gonna, but you can do it if you're better at it.
Well, why didn't
And then
you
she
heal
just hands it over.
Yajier is so confused as to why Nemo did not heal this man. Suspecting she may be racist. But yeah, Yajier will burn another spell slot to heal a chirp.
Okay.
And hope no one else needs healed.
The chirp does wake up.
It's only 5, but hey, I can only do so many good rolls, and by that I mean 2.
Yeah. Since they only recently went unconscious, your healing was enough to undo some of the damage to their lungs and help get oxygen back in them, and so their system starts rebooting and they start waking back up. Nemo, did you go outside to just do fire stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything in particular, or just working with Cole to help snuff stuff out?
Working to snuff stuff out, and that state that she's in should only be for a minute.
Yes.
I don't know if that's longer than a minute, or has it been a full minute?
It has not.
It's not been a minute.
Has not?
It has not.
No, it's only been like 12 seconds.
Oh, that's really fast. 12 seconds, goddamn. Like, she'll keep it up to try to see, like, if there's anything to, like, try to help her figure out what the hell happened. But, yeah, otherwise, she's just gonna, in Pez's words, presto. Does she? Presto?
That's,
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, Cole's also gonna, if he didn't see her doing any kind of magic suppression, was gonna tell her to soak her cloak with water and start dabbing that on the fire.
Start rolling around in the fire.
Legitimately, that's one of his options, but it's gonna take 2 turns of prep in order to do that. In that case, he could have 10 10 or 2 different 5-foot cubes tackled.
True. Fair point.
I know Ron has not had a quote-unquote turn yet, but Yejier will be thanking him for helping her. She's like, that went a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yep. You staying inside?
She's gonna look at the patients to try to determine before being like, how much health knowledge do you have? Can you watch them?
I could make watch, but I can't do shit.
I mean, I can't anymore either, really. I have an old herbalist kit from my grandma, but it doesn't do too much without a lot of prep, and even then it doesn't help the body heal itself that quick. It's more for... When she says poisons, she starts to consider if smoke inhalation is a type of poison. She's like...
You could make a check for that.
It seems like it'd be kind of like the poison effect. So the more she thinks about it, ask the tieflings if they would want my help. Otherwise, I guess I'll stay in here and work on them.
Okay. And Ron goes outside, and he will grab... He actually comes out with some blankets from inside the building and starts pouring water. Actually, no. Yeji, while he's talking to you, he would have been like prepping some blankets or towels in like a bucket of water. And he'll go out there prepared and like pass them out if Cole or Nemo wants any to have handy. But
Yeah.
he will ask if you guys want Yejie's help. Or if you think she should stay in with the injured.
Maybe let her stay with the injured.
All right, let's get to it then.
Okay.
And he'll help you guys
do you need a
slap
break?
fire. No. Once we get the fire a little further away, then I'll take one.
Okay.
Yejier is pretty much going to be working on, like, burn salves and stuff to help with smoke inhalation, whether that's something just to, like, soothe the throat or to, like, draw, quote, the poison of the smoke out. Because, as I said, she does have an herbalist kit. I don't remember all the actual effects of herbalist kits.
I don't off the top of my head. Mostly it's...
And she has alchemist supplies also, so like between the two of them, she's pretty competent.
Yeah.
She can make a couple of things.
Yeah, as long as you have the stuff, and I'll look into that between sessions. Since
Creates remedies
we'll
and
wrap up.
potions.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll assess what you would have at your disposal, both that you brought and
Okay.
can find in here. But I will say for wrapping us up, as you start getting in there, those of you outside, with the three of you working, having a better idea of what's going on, you do slow but steady help keep the fire away from the house and just kind of letting it move in the other direction. So you're able to keep this little corner of the colony safe for a little bit. Yejier, the awake chirp chirp struggles to sit up after they've regained consciousness for 30 seconds or so. Like, really struggles. Their breathing is still fairly raspy, but it's better than it was. And they... it's being a little weird. 1 second. If this doesn't work after this attempt, I'm just going to give up and we'll go with it just next time. Ah! Well, chat knows. Okay, I'll send you guys the image in Discord for the four of us after this, because I'll show it to chat here after I wrap this up, even though they just saw it. But so as they sit up and struggle and rasp their breath, they remove their hood and cowl, and you see that this little, like, 3 foot, closer to 3 than 3.5 foot tall creature is an owlin, which
So
is
hoot hoot.
yes, this is a hoot hoot, and they struggle to spread their wings out, which they have wings separate from their arms, like Aarakocra do. So they have wings on their back, plus a separate set of humanoid arms. And so they stretch their wings out slowly, and their wings are not very big, even just like proportionately to this small body. But they sit on the edge of the bed and dangle their little talons, because they certainly don't reach the floor. And they go, "Is he dead?" And looks over at the Goliath. And that will be where we stop for tonight.
Daddy?
No.
Not yet. Stabs him.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. He's not.
But yeah, thanks for playing tonight, everybody. I had a lot of fun. Sorry we didn't get to get quite as far as I'd hoped, given the late start, but winter does that, particularly winter in our area when people turn into really stupid drivers. So, as far as I know, we'll be here same time, same place next week. And yeah, thanks for playing tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ulf.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ulf.
Bye.
Okay, there we go. We did it. We got there. Things went a little fast because I was kind of in a kerfuffle with the shifted time, mostly because I had been working on stuff a little bit ahead of this for the next 1 or 2 sessions, and I hadn't gotten as far as I'd wanted over the course of the day today working on that, so I just kind of felt like I was racing to make sure I had all my dots and T's crossed for tonight. But we got through it. I had a ton of fun. I hope you guys found it suitably entertaining and dramatic enough for the gang tries to fight a fire, particularly when none of them have a history or like a particular proclivity for being firefighters. But they have found a little safe spot to ride out at least the next immediate future until we pick up again. And yeah, I'm not sure how well it came through, but I hope you guys noticed that that I had tried to play our intro music tonight from the beginning of stream when we were warming up, which was different. I tried a new song. It's from the same guy, David Wesleyan. But I did a new song for the intro tonight, and I tried to turn it back on about halfway through the session tonight while we were fighting fires. I don't know if it came through for you, because I don't hear, even just like during the stream warm up, I don't hear the intro music in my headset. It's just another one of those settings that I can never get to set and stay. So I know it was playing for the intro, but I don't know if it came through. I was trying not to have it be suddenly deafening during the session so you guys couldn't hear us, but I'm hoping it came through for you, because I'm wanting to toy around with the idea of figuring out how I can efficiently add some production quality things, just as little old me doing this for fun, with as much as I can handle with all the different spinning plates of streaming a D&D campaign as a person with prominent ADHD. So I don't know. We'll see. But I hope that came across as a fun surprise if it came across at all. And I'm excited to see where this goes next time as we learn more about these two characters that they just pulled from the fire and helped resuscitate a bit. Until then, everybody take care, stay safe, whether you have good weather, bad weather, stay warm, well, I'm sure most of us it's just cold, so stay warm and do something nice for yourself. We didn't take a wellness break tonight since we started late, but dear sweet Millie still knows if you're taking care of yourself. She's still watching. So take care of yourself, keep her smiling and happy, and stay tuned. There will be more to follow next week.